I think it's common knowledge that most headphones are made in China. Cheap ones, not so cheap ones, a few really expensive ones, made in China. Nothing wrong with that, just stating it as a fact. Some great headphones are made in the United States, some are made in the UK, some are made in the rest of Europe, and other places in the world. This one that I hold in my hand, the Verum 1, comes from Ukraine. I think it's really cool looking. I think it feels great. I think it sounds great. I think the price is great. And now I'm going to tell you all about it. It's a planar magnetic headphone. I really, really like this thing. It's got personality right away. It jumps out of the pack, right? You don't see too many other headphones that kind of going with this look. It's big, it's chunky, it's heavy. It weighs 520 grams. That's over a pound for you Americans out there. And but you know what? It's heavy, but it's comfortable. This weight distribution, this headband here, very well designed. Looks clunky, but feels good on your head. Supple cable, of course, user replaceable. Checks all those boxes. But more than anything, it's cool. It's just a cool device. There's a lot of planar magnetics crowding the market. You know, Odyssey and Hi-Fi Man. They were the pioneers a long time ago. They're still around. They're still doing great. But there's a lot of new kids on the block, but none that quite have the approach that Verum has. Like, first of all, these are push-pull, meaning there are magnets on both sides of the diaphragm. And that's unusual, especially in an affordable headphone. And the other thing that struck me is, I don't think it's going to show up, but the diaphragm itself isn't under high tension. Most of them are very, very taut, and this one is kind of loose and, well, I wouldn't say flapping in the breeze, but it's definitely not tight. Which kind of, I was concerned. I thought maybe they're damaged or something in shipping all the way from Ukraine. But I got in touch with Verum, and they said, no, that's the way they're supposed to be. And I said, okay, cool. Now, I had a concern that since the diaphragms aren't under high tension, that at certain frequencies they might start buzzing or something. So I was playing test tones, and those are also stuff to make them misbehave, and yet they never did. So I'm just smitten with this headphone. I am. So other details, it's an 8-ohm design. That's a very low impedance headphone. I don't know of any other, certainly full-size headphone that's 8 ohms. The diaphragm is 82 millimeters in diameter, which is definitely on the large side. It comes with a 2-year warranty. Feels very solid. It feels like you could drive a tractor over this thing, it wouldn't hurt it. But like I said, I like the sound, and I'm going to tell you about it real soon, but it's just, I don't know, it's just sometimes, you know, I get so many products in for review that are just kind of Me Too, sort of just Chinese knockoffs of other things, you know. It's just kind of, it's a drag after a while, but when something comes across my desk that's so different. Now, the price, I haven't mentioned the price. It's $349. So that puts it on the low side for a full-size planar magnetic, especially one with magnets on both sides. It's a push-pull. No, I don't think there's any other headphone that's quite does what the Verum, it's actually the Verum 1 does. There's actually going to be a lighter and presumably more affordable model coming along shortly. But for now, this is the one. To put the Verum 1 in perspective, its accomplishments, I compared it against this headphone. This is an Odyssey LCD2 Classic. It's $799. It feels more, well, it's a more refined build headphone. And it sounds, well, compared to this guy, it sounds darker. That's the first impression. This guy is much brighter, livelier, more just, yeah, here I am. And this one is more like, hey, man, we're just having a good time. But the Odyssey is warmer, richer, sweeter, buttery. It's just got more soul to the sound. And this one, the Verum, is lively. It lets you know it's there. And it's also more open sounding. I'm making it sound like the classic, the Odyssey is better in every way, or certainly leans in the direction of richness and warmth and being darker. But this guy has a bigger sound stage. It's more open sounding. This guy has more get up and go. It's also extremely easy to drive. I hooked up to my phone just with the Apple Lightning to 3.5 millimeter adapter. Drove it no problem. I also tried it with the Audio Quest Cobalt DAC/headphone amplifier running off my phone. Definitely. That was a sweet combination. That I think I was... Yeah, I also listened to the Verum one on my desktop with the new shit Asgard 3 headphone amplifier. And that obviously has considerably more power and just has more oomph to the sound. But for portable use, not that this is terribly portable, I would say the phone with the Audio Quest was definitely a very satisfying experience. So then I compared the Verum against this guy. This is a Sennheiser HD 600. Actually, this is a mass drop, so it's an HD 6XX. This one is velvety, sweeter, but very laid back sounding compared to this. It's lighter, it's more comfortable, but it actually has higher ear pad pressure, so in terms of comfort, it's kind of a tie, which surprised me because this one is so much heavier. But I didn't find the Sennheiser super comfortable. It can be, but in this face-off, it wasn't. So I listened to Roseanne Cash's 10-song demo solo LP, and that's a really stripped-down album. That's why it's called demo, because they might have actually been demos. And Roseanne Cash's vocals sounded more fully developed on the Sennheiser than it did on this guy here. So the Verum has a tendency towards lean. It can be a little thin sounding. The top end can be a bit brash even, but there's just something about its personality that lets me forgive all those sins and say, I don't know, I kept listening to it a really long time because I just enjoyed it so much. The Sennheiser is more tap down. The Verum has more get up and go, more transient sparkle, more jump. The bass has more sock. It is a planar magnetic after all. So yeah, it's a killer headphone. Now whether it fits your aesthetic requirements, I can't speak to that. But I can say for sheer enjoyment, the Verum one is a knockout. It's a blast to listen to. It's a blast to put on your head and just feel, well, I guess it's kind of like a steampunk look, or is that kind of already come and gone? But they get high marks for just having attitude. And in a world of too many Me Too designs that just kind of look like everything else, that they're all sort of turning into the same thing, the Verum one does not look like anything else. So I think my work here is done. My name is Steve Guttenberg. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you dig it, please subscribe. Hit that little button right down there. You can follow me on Twitter at AudiophiliacMan. Oh, playlists. I got lots of them. I have a whole playlist of headphone reviews, of which this will become a part of. There's speaker reviews, there's music reviews, interviews with industry luminaries like John DeVore and Nelson Pass, and too many to list here. Then there's the Audiophiliac of the Day, where it's just non-famous people, just us audiophiles talking to each other. That's really cool too. So check out those playlists. If you've gotten this far in the video, please, by all means, check out the Patreon at patreon.com/audiophiliac.